Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. How are you doing today? I hope you are having a marvelous day. It is Tuesday, and I don't know what it's Taco Tuesday. I don't know that I'm having any tacos, but what are you guys having for dinner tonight? I don't know. I'm already thinking about dinner. I'm thinking about it, and I'm not even sure if I had breakfast. So maybe that's why I'm thinking about some food. So you know how that goes, right? Oh my goodness. Sometimes we just get carried away with what we're doing, and things kind of fall by the wayside, right? So when you hop on, let me know that you're here. Tell me hello. I'd love to know you're here. And I am just going to pull up something here where I can see some comments, make sure I've got everything. Hey, Capri, how are you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. I'm going to send us over to a couple of places here. See if we can get some other friends on to join us. And hey, Liz, it is Taco Tuesday, isn't it? What are you up to today? I tell you, it's always a fun time to come on together and see everybody. Hey, Karen. Hi, Ann. Mary. So I am, and I can't see if we got any people that pop on over on YouTube. We'll be able to see them as well. So just another second here. You know, I should always have my phone ready to do this, because I learned that I can share to more places quickly on my phone than I can, when I sit here and have to do it like this. So quicker is better, right? A lot of times anyway, for stuff like this it would be. So anywho, you guys, what have you been up to? What are you up to today? So, alrighty. We're not gonna wait too long, because I don't want to spend too much time dilly-dallying. We want to get right down to it. So you guys, in case you don't know, I have a newsletter. It's called the Sunday Summary. And each week, it comes out on Sunday. It's not got tons of stuff in it. I tried to make it not too terribly long. I thought I got a glasses cleaner out here, and I don't see where it went. So I started doing a printable collection. And so that will come out one part of it. And so you build a collection throughout the month. So this time, now last month we hurried through and I made the friendship files, and then that kind of goes along with what's going to be happening in July, August, and September in the Junk Journal Jamboree. So on those events, we'll be working on the same journal, and so that one is going to, come out then. Or it already came out, so I offered it to people. If they wanted to have something for that theme of friendship, they could get that. So anyway, so this month of July, it starts the, our timing that we're going to do. And so each week, you'll get another part of the collection. So the first Sunday, you'll get like the pages. So we'll kind of build the journal. And so if you want to wait till you have all the pieces together, you can certainly do that and collect them all through the month. Or if you decide you want to just do, just start and build as we go, then you can do whatever you want to, because they'll be your papers. They're going to be no cost to you, and there they are. So today I printed out just a couple, and I'm going to just work on a folio. Okay, so I'll give you a quick peek at what the journal is right. Hey, Molly. Liz, I know. Liz is getting ready to go over to Craft Round the Clock this evening. She's never been over there. I told her it's just same as everywhere else. It's just people, everybody will be nice, and, don't worry about it. It's just all the same. Sometimes we have more viewers than others, and, that I just always encourage people to just be yourself. It's no different than anything else that you're doing, right? Let's see. Hey, Carol and Virginia's here. Molly, I don't know if I said, and Rhonda. You guys, my goodness, everybody is popping in. Now there's so many people that my brain can't keep up with who I said hello to. So if you're here and I didn't mention you by name, I'm sorry, but I still am super happy that you're here with us today. Let me put us down here to the desktop so we can get a peek at the collection. Let me put the first side up. And then when you know, my first page I printed out, I had the settings wrong and it kind of left a streak for me. All right, here we go. You ready? There we go. Look at that. And it's got a lot of, it's light colored. It's very soft. All of the pages are going to be kind of soft and kind of dreamy looking. And so they are, as we build up, some of the other things will be more vibrant. So pockets probably won't be this, quiet and subdued. And, and then when we get to our other embellishments to cut out, they'll be a little bit brighter. This looks brighter on my monitor than it does in my hand here. So does this one. So, you just play around with it. Oh, well, no, I don't know what difference that would make. So, anywho, yeah, and I can see now the one that I wanted for the cover. Of course, it's even more pale and light. But that's the way it goes sometimes, right, people? You just go with it. Capri, let me see. I've got the crafting community is very kind and supportive. Yes, they are. Where's the link for the printable? The printable, Leanne, I think is in the description here in this newsletter. You can go to my artfuladventures.com/newsletter and there will be a link to sign up for the newsletter. And just today I finally got everything squared away. So you guys, anybody that comes on, and that's why I'm going to keep offering it. I finally got it all squared away. So I've got a page, and so if somebody comes on later in the month, they can still get, the parts of the collection that they missed. And that page also is going to house the friendship files until the end of September. So you can get any of those on that page. And it's a hidden page. It's a secret one. So you have to sign up for the newsletter to get the link. So when you confirm that you want to, receive the newsletter, that's how you get it. So, hey Sue, how are you? Hi Penny. So that's how you get that. And I'm pretty sure it's in the description. You guys, I was so fast and furious. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't set up for the live. I'm like, oh no, I need to get set up. But what do you guys think of that? Most of the things that we use for junk journals, and again, I wasn't paying any attention, and so I ran out of time. But I'll do something and that won't matter. But so many of the things that we get for our junk journals are, just really gorgeous illustrations. And I thought, you know what? I want to do something that's not something like that. Hey, Wendy, how are you? Oh, and Wendy is one of the first to get on board. She has joined the paper voyage. So it's my new subscription to Ready to Go little fun, vibrant journals every month. So she got on board early. Thank you, Wendy. Okay. Oh, thanks, Sue. I love these. I just think they're so much fun. And then they have little subtle details on them. Some more than others. Now, these are full pages. And so the reason I went with some of them that are full pages is so we can do just like I'm doing now. We can use them for whatever we want to and have plenty of image, plenty of paper to work with. Now, if you want the other kind, hey Carrie, if you like the things that are like 2 images per page for a junk journal, then there's those two. Half of them are like this and half of them are the 2 pages per sheet. So I got you covered. Now I cannot, hey Susan, I cannot guarantee that all the collections going forward are going to be as large as this one and the other one. Hey Anne. Yes, Anne she's getting on board the paper voyage too. Thank you, Anne. All right, it's gonna be fun. Okay, so now we've got these. Let's start off and build like our cover for our our little folio, okay? Oh, Susan's over there watching on YouTube. She says she can't comment over there. Well, no, you must be able to comment because I can tell you're on YouTube. The problem with being able to comment is you have to, like, make yourself a channel. Like, you know, and I don't know. That just seems so odd to me. I don't know why they do that. So what we're going to do is we're going to decide where we want, and I'm just going to kind of give this a rough fold here and just kind of give it a tiny little mark here and one here so I know where to score it, because I don't want to try and do that. I don't know, I might have wanted that bigger. Wait a second. I don't know. Might want more of that to fold over. Let's do this. See? This is why you should not do it all the way, right? Oh, Karen, that's terrible. I am sure sorry about that. That is not any fun. Hi there, Martha. How are you doing today? So now let me get this. I'll be just a tiny bit more. So now I'm just going to score it. And because, you know, when you're using paper that's a little, and I didn't even get all the white off of that very good, but, you know, it'll work. It'll work, people. You want to score it so you've got as much chance as possible for it to, you know, make a good fold. What scoring does is it stretches the fibers of that paper so that then they can easier, you know, bend easier without breaking, right? Let me see if I can tell where it is. I'm going to do it on both sides of this because this is really the side it needed to go on. But you know, when you're doing folding like that and you're wanting one side to be the front and it kind of folds different. What the heck? Okay, hang on. You know me. It's like it didn't look like it was going all the way where it was supposed to. Okay, we're ready. Ta-da! Okay, so now we'll just give it a good fold here on our little crease marks. There we go. And this one. Now, I don't want it to just be plain and straight. That's boring. I mean, if you want plain and straight, that's fine. If that is not boring to you, you know, there's no problem with doing it like that. Now, shoot, where's my bone folder? You guys, this little clean spot right here is purely an illusion. Trust me. It is an illusion. And I have been so busy lately, I have got to do something about this so it's not that. Okay, now what I want to do is I want to find the center, and that's one of the things I like about these Tim Holtz rulers is it's got this 0 here and you can see through it. So you just like to find where your center is, then you just match it so you've got the same number on both sides. So I think that's pretty close. It's about 4 1/8 on each of those. So I'm going to get a pencil and I'm just going to mark that right here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make an ever so slight curve, and I'm going to use a really fancy tool for that called a thing of washi tape. I'm just going to kind of center that, and I just want a little bit of a curve. And now we'll just take that and pull it down here closer to the fold. So we'll just make that little curve. And be careful. So this is a pretty tight curve. And then we're just going to do it with scissors. We'll just cut it with scissors. So, you know, there's all kinds of fancy crafting tools, right? So many, just like this. What's one of your favorite crafty tools, you guys? That's similar. So now, look, now we've given ourselves a little nice rounded curve, and we're just going to cut this off with our giant scissors. And then we'll have a fun little something different for our cover, right? Or our fold over thing, our little flap. I guess that's a better word for it. And if you end up with pencil, you know, still on, you could either cut on the inside of your pencil mark or just erase it if you got some left. See, I've still got some left. And, you know, if you were going to ink it or something, which who knows, you know me, I'm always just in a hurry to get it done, right? This is like glaring so much on that. Oh, well, maybe let me turn it down. Whoops, that's off. Well, that's not so bad, actually. That's really not bad. Let's do that. Okay. So now we've got that. And we're going to have our trusty ruler out so we can see how big of, you know, something we want to make a pocket, right? So, man, these score lines are so faint, you guys. So I'm going to do, actually, I'm just going to do 4 inches, and it'll keep it out, well, maybe just a tad over. It's more like a 16th. Let's use this one, and let's make kind of a stacked pocket. So we're going to, let's just trim this off along here at that 4 and a dab. 4 and a dab. Isn't that? Hey, Deborah Rich. If you submitted a card in the clubhouse, I did not see it. Where did you put it? Susan, you're on your iPad instead of your you mean you have me smaller today? Oh, what is this? It got out of the track or something. It's not cutting. There we go. So now we've got that nice little piece there. And see, I just used this. There wasn't any reason to use something really pretty if we're just going to cover it up. So Deborah, where did you put the card? Because then your name didn't even go in the drawing yesterday. I felt really bad after I saw that later that you said you did make the card. So let's do this, and let's just cut some off of here. It just doesn't have to be rocket science, you guys. I always like a small one, the low one about no less than 2 inches. And I think I might do, you know, let's do 2 1/4 on this one, because we're going to have to have enough to kind of tuck them behind each other. So let's do that one, and you know, we can just kind of, so if we got that one at 2 1/2, let's just do this one at, well, we almost need another piece over here. We'll just do it here. No, that's not going to work well. Well, whatever. We'll just cut it, right? Oh, Deborah. Okay. Yeah. Shoot. I just did not see that, my friend. Okay, so I saw the little circle punch here. I thought. Ta-da. I did see it. So I'm going to cut one of these. Oh, well, you know what? How about let's make sure they go the right direction. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to do one. And this one I'm just going to eyeball Sometimes that is not a good idea. That one's not too bad. And now I'm just going to use that, and I'm going to use it here. The only reason I'm not doing them all together is because that gets to be a little thick. And sometimes it makes it harder for them to punch, or the little paper punches. You're having a beautiful day in Southeast Michigan. You know, it has been pretty here, and not too hot, which I'll take it. I'll take that. See, now that one went through both layers, and that was, yeah, I don't ever want to break my little circle punch. That, I get more use out of that than a lot of other tools. I like circle punches. You know, in some places it's harder to get them because they started, you know, making all of the other, oh, what was I going to say? The dies, like a set of circle dies. So they're all, you know, like within each other. And, okay, so I'm going to layer these like this, just inside of each other here. And look, I've got a tiny bit. Now that one's a little bit high. That comes up pretty high. Let's drop it down a little bit. I think we could still drop it down here and it'd still look pretty. And then that one's not quite so high. But then it's still color matches. So I like that. I'm not so sure. You know, I think as we put these together, I am going to layer these to where they might be on the outside edge, but I don't want them in the way of the thing. So I think I'll make sure each one is there. And I'll just make a little mark so I know where they go. So as I glue them on, I am going to just put them, I'm going to make sure that the fold will fold, right? Northwest lower. We are considered, the Dallas-Fort Worth area is considered North Texas. And I just think that is so interesting because there's places a lot more north than we are. But, you know, I think that part is what they call the panhandle. I love how many states have a section like that they, you know, called, ow, I can't put this one on first, you guys. They have to go they have to be like this. I have to start from the top. We gotta start from the top. Goodness gracious. Well, I'm curious, how many of you have taken advantage of, you know, and using the files, the printables that come in the newsletter. You don't have to use all of them, right? I mean, you can pick and choose, and I just thought it would be fun if you wanted something different to be able to have that option. Now, obviously, these would have stood out more if we would have put some ink on the edges, but you know, we're just doing a quickie little folio today. And, you know, you don't have to have a pattern. You don't have to have all the goodies ready. And so I can still see my tiny little line I put over there. Yeah, I might go back and do my trick where I ink some of those edges after the fact. Especially the little marks where the little, you know, finger holes. Because those are kind of hard to see. Now, this set here, and it's almost set up. So I got to put a little bit more on. I tell you, these tiny little needle nose applicators, they don't put very much on. I don't need very much. And then they dry so fast. There, look at that. Now really, look at that. I've ended up with kind of a, the edge of that looks great with, I mean, you still get almost that whole picture. What do you think of that? 90% just continued hot humidity. I tell you what, you are just. Hey, Jeanette, how are you? Hi, Cheryl. Jeanette is one of the other people. She's on board. She's already registered for that paper voyage. Thank you, Jeanette. So let's see. Let's do this side over here. And let's do some diagonal pockets over there. So, man, I tell you what, I cannot hardly see these. Now, see, if I was smart, I would have measured them so they would be the same. This is almost, it's close. I'm going to do 4. I think I'll do 4 1/8, and I think that'll be fine. 4 1/8. Yes, Susan, that's a good point. She says not everyone wants to invest in die cutters or the, the dies, and it is it is an investment, that's for sure. It really is. And a lot of people have a lot of trouble. Now, there are the electric ones, and some people who really have problems with arthritis and some things like that, they like the ones that are electric because then they don't have to, crank them through. And I can sure see why that would be something that, a person who had problems like that would enjoy, being able to still have the use of, being able to use those. I think this one, let's see here. I wonder how much of that the watering can is so big though. I wonder if we could get part of it. We might get part of it. I mean, even if you had that much of it, you still see that it's a watering can. I'm going to use part of that one. If I don't use it here, I got to get the tip of it. I'll make a line so I know where the tip of it is. There. Then I've got little cheater marks so I don't have to worry about that. Okay. Oh my goodness, what else you guys got going on today? Anything special? I don't know what the weather here is supposed to be. It is sunny. When I was out earlier, I went out to give the little tortoise some water and give him one of his hibiscus flowers that he loves. And water, and I put some water in the bird bath. And I found out that when my husband got rid of another hose we had, that now the hose that's out there isn't long enough to reach the bird bath. Just like, oh, seriously. So I'm standing over there as close as I can get, and I'm just spraying the water over, and it needed cleaned out too. So I'm over there just trying to mess around with that. And I'm like thinking, yeah, if the hose would have reached farther, it would have not taken me so long. Did anybody see my post this morning with the sunflowers? That's my kind of, flower garden here in Texas. I don't have to worry about those flowers dying. In fact, they're just right around. I don't know, somebody took them out, and so my husband told me the other day, he goes, I put the flowers back, and I go, yeah, I said, I don't know who took those out. I said, that was kind of weird. You know what, let's just go ahead and make our diagonal start kind of at the same spot. So first I'm going to make it the right height, and then we'll go from there. So let's do that. Well, that's not the one I wanted that for. Well, that's okay. This, I tell you, some of these things. This is the one I was going to cut off like that. That's okay though. Okay, so I want to just cut. Let's see here. We got to kind of plan this together. Let's plan it. I don't know. If we make the one come down to about here, oh, I know what I'm going to do. I've got a plan. She's got a plan. Okay. So I'm going to cut this piece off. Now I'm going to make it a diagonal that is, you know, not all the way, and then make kind of a nice soft rounded thing. So I'm just going to put it in the trimmer like this, and not, I don't want it sharp corners. I'm going to do it like this. And now I can just take this and try. Hey there, Christy, how are you doing? There's one of my other Christies. And then I'm just gonna make, I just like to trim a tiny bit off of here. And you know, it's surprising at what that tiny bit, how much it softens the corner. And now we'll just cut this one right here so we still have our entire pocket, or our entire watering can. I'm going to erase that. And then I'm going to just, since it's a pocket, we'll just make another little spot here. And then we've got a nice little tuck pocket. So we're going to, on this one, we're going to combine a diagonal with a straight edge pocket, just so we can get the watering can on, right? Hey Trisha, how are you doing? Now this one, this page, if once I get those on there, look at that. So we can see, look at that. It just, you can't even hardly tell that that's got a pocket there. And again, I may go back and do that, but you know, who knows? Well, shall we? Should we put just a tiny touch of color on it? Let's do it. Let's just do it. Here's a tiny brush. And I'm not going to go all the way around the whole pocket. I think I'm just going to do these cut edges like that. And so then you can tell where it is. Let's do that up here too. And then, because we'll have to do the other side. Now, this side, you know what? We need to do both sides of this. I don't know how much of this will show. I'm going to do this all the way down, and I'm not going to glue this part. We'll leave that open a little bit. And so let's do this one too. And I think that'll help, you know, indicate that that side is going to be open, hopefully. So now I'm just going to glue this one on here. You know, after I cut that, you know, after I rounded that little corner on the other one, it made it shorter. So once I get this glued on, we'll just kind of round that off. We'll match the little edges just like that. We'll just hold it up there and they'll be matchy-matchy, and we'll be able to fix it. All right. So let's just put this one on here. And it kind of looks like it needs to be squared up anyway. We've got a little bit I don't know what happened there, but let's give it a little snip and fix it. If I can get my scissors lined up there and see it, that'll be good, right? Yeah, that thing is like kind of crookedy in several spots. Well, you know, they were two different cuts, right? So you can't really be surprised. So now I can from the back side, can you see that tiny pointy part sticking out? Let's get that cut so it matches. All right. And now we've got to re-ink a tiny bit so we can see it. Okay. Now, somehow this doesn't, I can't even see where I inked here. Did I not ink that part? Well, I told you my glasses were dirty. Okay, so now we're just going to do the bottom and the one side to glue it. And then we'll be ready to stick it in the little folio along this side. Just bump it down to the bottom. Oh, that is really, what in the world? Oh, I almost glued it over the fold, you guys. Always when you're doing this, always fold it back in so you can make sure that you haven't done something like that. So now we've got that one. I don't know that I like this with this straight thing here, but you know, it is what it is. Who knows? It gives us options, right? It gives us options. Let's grab a little piece of paper. There's this part. And let's go ahead and I'll show you my little, here's my little inky trick if I forgot to ink and then I decided I wanted to after all. Just put something in there to mask the edges so you don't get it on something you don't want it on. And that's just an easy little trick to do. All right. I saw the other day that so many of my videos finally came off. I knew that was how long they were going to let them live there on the book. Wait, what are you saying, Trisha? What have you said? Oh, your mom is off getting a mammogram. I tell you, it seems like every time I turn around, I've got to be going somewhere for some kind of testing. I had one of those done not long ago. Be sure and make sure you're getting those done, people, or make sure you're checking yourself. Because, you know, that's one of the things that has a pretty good rate of, you know, getting fixed up. Okay, so look, there's our little, the inside of that, just using a couple of those full images. What do you think? And we can lay this down here. Yeah, now I'm gonna have to ink all that. You know, I'm gonna have to ink that now too, right? Oh my goodness. Even if nothing else, I've got to do this part just to kind of, and just, you know, it's amazing what just a tiny bit of soft edging, what a difference that it can make. I know some of you are inkers too. And if you don't like doing it, you know, I never did like it until I had some of these brushes, or even the other little applicators with the wooden handles. When they made those little domed foam applicators, oh man, that made a world of difference for me. So now there we go. We've got our little, just a little, you know, basic folio you could use. They don't have to be super fancy. And if you want to, you could, you know, you can just tie it up. I think I've got some little, I still have some little Velcro circles that are super easy. And they are just tiny and they hold really well. They already have their adhesive on them. And so you can just pop those on and just do it like that. So, you know, kind of fun. Thank you. Thanks, Christy. Yep, these are the ones that are in the new collection that come out in my newsletter. So this is that. And if you aren't getting the newsletter, again, you can go to myartfuladventures.com/newsletter. And I'm pretty sure I put it in the description. I hope it works. Hopefully that goes where it's supposed to. Let me see. I can check right here. Let me see. I'll make sure it went where it was supposed to, you guys. No, it says no. And I don't know if that's because it is in Facebook or not. That's weird. You know what? You know, they have gotten aware more all the time. Well, that's not a keyboard. They are doing that more and more to where it's hard to, you know, show people things or do anything. Let me change this. So I hope that you know, I just wanted you to know, just take a regular piece of paper and you can always, or, you know, not paper, but, you know, cardstock or a little bit heavier. Make your own little folios out of, you know, papers that you have that you want to work with. And, you know, just go for it. Let me see here, you guys. I am going to find that and make sure I told you the right thing. I don't know why that wouldn't come up in that link in the description. Let me see. Yeah, so newsletter is not capitalized. It's just all lowercase. So you can go there and find it. Well, actually, if you just go to myartfuladventures.com, it's one of the options in the very top little menu banner. So that's an easy way to do it. You don't have to remember any of the, you know, any of the extras. It's and I know that is a long thing to type out. But I tell you, there was a reason for that. And when my my page used to be called Artful Adventures, and then when I actually changed my business name to be that, then after we moved here, I was able to do that. And so I checked, and for years and years, when I first started my online, you know, stuff, there was somebody who had that domain name, Artful Adventures. And so there wasn't really much of anything there. They didn't do anything with it. It was kind of like this placeholder of a pretend blog that was going to start, and they never did anything with it. So by the time, you know, years and years had passed, and we came down here, and so I saw that they weren't using it anymore, and it was available. And so I, you know, checked into doing that, to getting that for a domain name and changing it over, because I used to just have my name. And so when I checked, they got back to me and they said they would not accept anything less than 5 figures for the domain name. And I thought, nobody's been using that all this time, and you think you're going to get 5 figures for it. I haven't checked in a long time to see if they had anybody that did it. But I'm like, wow. And I thought, no, now what can I do? And so then I changed it, and I could get my Artful Adventures on any platform that I wanted. And so I did that. And I always like to tell you guys, it's not my Artful Adventures. When you say it, you're talking about your own Artful Adventures, right? So that's kind of that's a free story for the day. You guys. Oh my goodness. Oh, so you did put in there. Okay, hang on a second. Thank you, Christy. Let me see if I can pin that. That's so sweet of you. Thank you. Got it. We got it pinned in there, you guys. Thanks a lot. All right, you guys, I'm going to let you go and have a wonderful day. And if you know, please go over there and join, you know, my Artful Adventures Clubhouse. That's a free group. And if you make something with the printables, we want to see. Pop it in there and share it with us. We'd love to see. And, you know, I just want you to have something, and I want you to have pretty things to work with, right? So I'm going to let you go. How many times have I already said that this time? Bye, you guys. Take care. Have a great day.